Hello guys, and welcome to yet another video. I'm LuckersTurbo, and today I'm going to analyze the fall 2022 campaign. This campaign has been out for 9 days now, and I'm trying to break down every map, all 25 maps, by looking onto the top 5 replays. To myself, I'm playing the game for 13.5 years. I'm a professional caster in Trackmania, and I would also say that I'm not the worst player when it comes to understanding the game. As you can see, I'm 79th on the campaign, but I'm certainly not as good as someone like Granadi, who just rated me. So thank you so much for ruining my YouTube intro, but I'm just gonna let that one in. And guys, I hope that this guide will help you to understand the map, maybe to go for world record, or even to go for like an author medal, because I'm trying to consider everything that is on the maps, from a no set on map 1 towards the gear that we have on map 17, where Granadi, for example, has world records, or just some more advanced stuff like on 24, where we have gear manipulation and all of those other things. So let's just hop into it and go to the first map, which is map 01. So this campaign is starting off with a quite easy map, pretty simple, and in general the whole campaign is pretty nice. So let's go ahead and jump into it. There are also timestamps in the description if you want to check that out. Oh, I should not click this folder here. I should not click it. Yeah, because then I would leak some maps. Yeah, well, but let's go to fall 2022. And why is it sorted like this? Wait, where's 1? Ah, here. Just after, you know, 1 is just after 19, because that makes sense. Select all, confirm. But thank you so much, Granadi, for the raid. Hello to the raiders. Thank you, Dinop, for the follow for the raids. I'm analyzing all records today on the new campaign. Yeah, to give you guys some insight how you are beating the author types, and also how you can hunt maps. So if you enjoyed, then leave a follow or check out the YouTube or whatever. Last time I did it with Raysta. Of course, if he wants to join for the next time, he is always invited for that, but I think he's not that invested into the campaign. But let's go ahead and check out the run first. You know, we have track 01 starting off with a simple right-hander here, and then we have a jump where you have to just do a left turn, but already the important part comes in here. We have a sand section where you slow down, and then of course this ending here as well. So that's the map. Very simple, also not hard to get this all the time, but let's go into the analyzation. So you are in 3rd gear here at the start, and you want to execute a no slide, because with no slide you just accelerate faster than drifting. You know, you just shift into 3rd gear, and that's why you also want to open up your steering. So you hear it here. Wait. No, they open up the steering just before that, and also go for that no slide there. So that is easy. Or actually, are they opening it when they gear up? Yeah, a little bit. You can see it there, but it's hard to really notice it. Let me quickly do it in that. So you have the... You know, they stop steering here for a moment, and you can see here, if you didn't know, on your car on the back, you have a gearbox here, or like a gear. You see here right now. Wait, where can I even see it in this camera? I think I cannot even see it. Oh wait, there it is. So they're in that gear. Wait, when are they in 2nd gear? When are they in 2nd gear? Time stop. Yeah, time stop, guys. So yeah, it's of course now very hard to see, so I might have to remove some ghosts. How can I hide them actually? Or just delay them like that. So let me quickly check that. So let's go. So usually here. Oh, I didn't. My God, dude, what is that? Why is nothing working right now? Let's go into the normal camera again. Like this is such a bad start into the dingsbums. But long story short, they're opening up their steering when they gear up into 4th gear, or into 3rd gear in this case. And you want to do that with every gear. You look here. They're opening it up. It's of course from 2nd to 3rd, and then you have this jump where you want to jump far to the right, and you also don't want to air brake, because this gives you a very good approach for this left-hander, where you want to barely hit the sand, not fully, only with 1 wheel. You're gonna slow down a little bit, but this gives you a good angle over this section here. important to reduce your time on the sand. Yeah, and you can also do a small wiggle there, as I've seen it there. And then at the end, you want to reduce airtime. It's a very complex line, I would say. It looks very easy, and that's why I also really like this campaign so much, because you have like all those small tricks, but with that, jumping from left to right, you can like bump your car up, and you don't get airtime on that. So this not only sets yourself up for the turn, for the left turn and for the ending, but it also gives you a lot more speed compared if you're not doing that. Yeah, so let's go through that map again. You know, the gear comes in, they stop steering, and also here, of course, you want to go more inside. That's why they also stop steering there. I mean, I'm not even sure about that second to third gear, if they are actually going for a nosedive, because I'm doing it with intuition. You definitely want to do it at some point that you stop the steering, of course, because you want to go more inside. So that's really important. And then, of course, the ending here, just very simple. Also, another nosedive there in this left-hander to just yeah, just gather up more speed, because you cannot really wiggle with that kilometers per hour. And that's map number 1. I mean, it's a chaotic start, but sometimes it do be like that. And yeah, it's a simple map to start off the campaign. Nice scenery, better than the first campaign map. And I think this is also a lot of fun to hunt till a certain extent. So that's map number 1. Let's go to the second map. And if you guys have anything to add, then just go ahead and do it, because we're gonna discuss about it. And I think that we might have mentioned some things. Selected maps are in oh, dude, they still didn't fix that. Are you kidding me? They still didn't fix that. Oh my god, dude. Select all, confirm, edit. So O2, probably the most boring map of the campaign. Nothing really to say about the start, because it's just driving very, very clean around the turns. And yeah, just get it good. Then you have this looping here. We see different approaches here, actually, from the players, yeah. And then a bobsleigh ending. So that's the map. The only thing that I could maybe add about the start is the fact that you can go, like, not like this ghost here. I think this is, wait, who is that? Ghost name, Sepulfun. Maybe lost a little bit of time by not going diagonal. You know, it's also like the track of the day ending. You can see he's a little bit behind due to that, but not like a lot. You see his spoiler here, the check spoiler. You see he's a little bit behind because he didn't go diagonal. And that's the only thing that I could really add about the start. Then it's all about getting a late apex here. You want to stay as far to the right as possible. Yeah, like the sun ghost. This is probably Journée, if I might call it correctly here. Why can't I just change them? Dude, what is happening? Couldn't I click them beforehand and they were changed? It feels like that they have changed those things here. Or maybe it's the clip camera. Wait, I thought I could change it by just clicking it. Wasn't that the case beforehand? Or do I have to click on camera? No, this doesn't make sense then. But anyways, that's the start. You know, it's probably Journée. Then of course go diagonal to set up for that turn. Don't go too far to the left, because you still need to hit that apex here. And then of course also do the same on the right. Then you end up here. And now what's important in the loop is that you steer before. And maybe we can change towards a different ghost here, as I still have to figure out how I change the player ghosts. Actually, isn't it rename selected track data all tracks view? Maybe some of you in the chat knows, because I thought it was just clicking on the thing here. How do I change the ghost actually? Like, I thought I just have to click here, but I think it's not. Maybe it's plus, and then I have to add a custom camera and then target. Oh, okay, like that. So you see the ghost here. Wait, what the? I just want a normal camera. Dude, I just want a normal camera. How is it not working? Well, then we're just gonna spectate this ghost. But you can see he's not getting the best line. He has a little bit less speed, and he loses a little bit of time with that, because he just went not that diagonal in this case, because they try to stay far on the right, or they go into the loop without steering and then do a left steer movement, that they go diagonal down the looping. Click on the player camera and click the player there. Ah, yeah, sure, it was this one. Sure. Okay, I wasn't on this thing. Thank you so much. I thought that I'm gonna make it like that. But you see, they are further on the right. And also I wanna go into the internal view. Like that. And they are hardly steering, just a little bit, firmly tapping. And that's really important. That's really important that you actually staying far on the right. This left line also works, but gives you a little bit less speed. And also if we take a look onto... let's take a look onto the world record actually. Onto Jean. Is Jean still world record? Probably. It's probably still world record. It's probably still world record. You see that there. So that's how you do it. That's how you do it on this map. Stay on the right. And then just, you know, he taps just a little bit in that loop. You don't really want to steer a lot in the looping. And then of course we have that last part of the track where air braking is really important. Air braking is really important on this part, because you want to instantly go into the bobsleigh. You approach it, of course, not full from the left, you can do that, but then you will wiggle on that bobsleigh. And in this case, you see how Jean-René lands here. He touches it there, then his nose goes down, so he also minimizes the airtime, and then he uses that momentum to instantly steer and stay in the bobsleigh. So that's how he does it. And that's how he also secured himself that world record. Oh no, never mind, he doesn't have world record anymore. I thought he has, but he doesn't. So actually, I thought that he might have the world record here, but let's take a look how the other player does the line actually. Because this is probably one of my least favorite maps from the campaign. I thought that he still has the world record, but of course it's the new ice. So it is Marta with the world record. Let's see how he does it. Let's see how he does it, and let's try to explain that. And see if we can figure something out. Of course, a good start. Stays further on the right, but then of course he has to steer, or he has to steer a bit less, but also has a different approach here. It's a quite different line compared to the others. Just a little bit off, but if you want to go for the all the time, just go close around the corners. Also not too close, you don't need that. But the most important part, of course, is this approach. You see, they're approaching it between the red and the blue line, more on the blue line, and then, you know, they stop steering beforehand, and then you want to air brake just right after it. That you kind of bounce from the ice into the bobsleigh itself, and then get yourself an ice slide, or like a bobsleigh, a smooth bobsleigh part. And then you just get it really good. I think he was just wobbling less than Mika, who just wobbled a bit here and lost it at the end. So he just had a really clean transition. And of course, the more your car turns and goes up and down, the less speed you have eventually. I think that describes it the best. And also here, what is also important on that loop, real quick, is the fact that if you drift in it, you will lose a lot of time. Or if you just get like more skid marks and steer in those skids, because then you will lose a lot of speed. So less steering is more in this case, and you also want to set up for this bobsleigh. But this map is bad, probably my worst campaign map at the moment. And well, I mean, that's it for map 2. That's it for the map. I think I can probably tell you more about the later maps, but I have to go back again and go in again, because it sometimes do be like that. I almost clicked that folder, guys. I should maybe remove it from there. But if you have any questions, go ahead and ask. I think now we are ready to go. I think now we're good to go. Okay, that's actually my best campaign map. And this also describes the randomness on this map, but I think I can tell you more about this map than on 1 and 2, because I literally have experienced it myself. 1 is pretty straightforward, just no slides, yada yada yada, and also here. This map is not too hard. It's a full speed map. You can play that one without braking in any given moment, or like just releasing. And yeah, the start again, you go very close. You go very close around the corners. Here, very important that you don't stay on the right. You use that curb from the sausage to set yourself up and jump far from the right towards the next part of the track. Then, probably the single most important part on this map. You now have a transition, and of course the sausage block turns like this. Important for you that you steer to the left, but right when you approach, when you go up, you want to steer to the right again in order to not get airtime, minimize airtime, like a left-right flow trick. And then again, you want to steer to the left. What the world record, or what the world records do now, is they don't end in a drift. They have just small skids behind them, if even. Yeah, you can also go for a drift that will of course lose you a lot of time. And also you can end up more to the right here, you can end up more to the left, you can have an awkward turn, but they literally have the best apex possible here and set themselves up nicely. Because if you are having a late apex, of course you will crash here, or you released or whatever. If you have an earlier apex, it will be hard for you to clear that turn, because then you might be more on the right here. You will probably struggle if you try this map and go for the auto time or for good time, that you fly off here to the right, or you just have less speed. But that is like the single most important turn. So now, you of course don't want to catch airtime here as well. Go close to the wall here as well, and now the jump. You want to air brake here, or you can air brake. I'm not sure if it's mandatory, but I was air braking to set myself up for that one. But I think almost everyone is air braking, and then stay far on the right. Now you want to slide, but don't overslide. If you overslide, you also lose speed. And then, of course, don't get airtime here as well. You can have a little bit of airtime, but you want to then reduce it with just getting yourself or doing a flow trick. So that's the rundown from the map. And then the ending, of course, stay on the right, get this flowy turn into the ending. But this map is also very complex for it being a very early map. It's really cool to have those kind of maps in there. But you see it here, the player camera, right now it's on default. On Nearuko, he almost flew off there. And you can also finish to the left here, finish more inside due to the reactor boost. But that's the map here. I think straightforward, but there are still some things to mention, especially the line at the start. I didn't see that at first place when I played the map for the first time. I actually went to the left and slid, but you can do this turn full speed by just doing a left, right, left motion. You have to get used to that, and of course also this turn here can be very hard. If you jump too far to the left, you will get airtime. You also don't want to have airtime after that. Just a little bit that your left two wheels are falling off due to the rotation of the block itself. And then it sets yourself up very nice for that turn, and you will get yourself a lot of speed for the ending. Then also a small wiggle here that I've just noticed now on that plastic. And then of course you just pop it into the ending. That's the map. I think a cool map, but also can be very frustrating to hunt also with a start. Like you can crash there a lot of times, and once you get a good start, you know, and then you fly off there, or just don't get yourself a good drift, or get more of a drifting line, or get airtime. You know, there's so many factors that can go wrong, but eventually you're gonna get a good time on this map. Map 3 in the books with that, I would say, unless you guys have any more questions for that. Let's go to the 4th map. Also a very basic map, but the map now introduces a different set of skills, because it's the first real full speed map in that regard, where you have to speed slide. So let's go to map 4, select all, edit, and suck. Let's take a look. Also, the music is way too dang right now. Holy shit. Dude, man. Let's just go for that. Okay, so we have map 4. Full speed map, we see Dubby, Lakadal, Shadowcrancer, Hill, and Kirill in the top 5. Okay, interesting. So I already see different approaches on this map. Also here, you see a player not going for an air brake. Yeah, right now the player camera is on Dubby. Also, very nice ending. Wow, they're jumping so far. But let's go into the analysis. So start, I would say the easiest part of this map at first glance. This turn is very blind, of course. That's why it is hard to set up. And it's also super important to get it very tight. Because after that, you need to be far to the left in order to go very close to that limitation of the map, I would say. Because you don't want to go over the penalty sand or penalty grass in this case. Or drive against this stupid flag there, which has happened a lot of times. Because you want to jump a little bit tilted to go for an SD. Speed sliding. So, speed sliding works like that for people that don't know it. If you're above 400 kilometers per hour in Trackmania, your car accelerates faster if you have, like, you see it here. That's the perfect example. You see the skid marks right here. You see them right here. Let me actually go into the free camera. I think this, with that you can see it better. So, you see the skid marks right here. They're overlapping. And the slower you are, so above 400, the less they should overlap. So the more you can steer. The faster you are, the more they have to overlap. There's also like a screenshot or like some sort of, how you say that? There's an image of that, what angle you have to hold for that. But what is important at the start is the fact that you only hold it for a couple of seconds. Like maybe 1 second. Because else, first you want to play this map, I thought maybe you can do the SD for the whole left turn. But you want to set up and you need that full steering movement afterwards. Because now you set up for the left turn, and what Dubby does here, he goes over the grass block. You can see it here. And gets himself a speed slide. He loses a bit of speed with that. Of course he does. But he also enters the speed slide or the speed for drift S4D, which you have to do here without getting himself or without tapping the brake button. Usually, when you're on flat surface and you're not above 600 kilometers per hour, your car cannot drift. If you're above 600 kilometers per hour, you will just automatically drift if you steer fast or like in too much. And in this case, he just used a slippery surface to trigger the SD. Of course, holds it very long, then also reduces his angle a little bit towards the ending, and then goes for an air brake. And another small SD here. A small SD, you can see it in the landing. That might give him 1 or 2 kilometers more. And then doesn't go for an air brake because the ending turn, the more speed you have at the end, the easier for you it is to actually trigger an SD. But what he does now, he doesn't go for an air brake, so his car bounces. And with that, he can start the speed slide a little bit later. But you see, he had so much more speed. And actually, that is a really good line from him. Also, very good SD from Dubby. And then at the end, of course, you're very fast. You can overjump this ending. He jumps from right to left, diagonal, in order to not release. The others are doing it from left to right because they were a bit more inside. We see one madman also doing that. And then they instantly hit the finish line. Yeah, important to just go into the finish and don't release because that will lose you a lot of time. For the outside wheel? What do you mean outside wheel? But guys, if I said anything wrong or you have anything to add, just tell me. But you see different lines here, especially for the ending. You see Lakadal right now. You know, not going very diagonal at the ending because the others had a bit more speed. And he still got himself a good run here. So let's take a look onto the ghost from the Shadow Crancer. Very good start actually, but of course, you see it here. He didn't hit the perfect apex, and that's why he's a little bit behind. Of course, that was still a good line and a good approach, but of course, he could have had it a bit better. Then he taps the brake here to go for an S4D. Okay. Now I know what you mean. Perfect. So, he does it like that, and also people or players are releasing a bit or braking a bit later there. And then you just get a good SD. The SD at the end is not that easy, especially with that speed. The speed before that is important. And when you have that speed, you know, okay, I have to do this slide now. So very complex map, again, if you think about it in this case. And I like it. I played it for a bit. I think I'm still top 100 here. but it's certainly not that easy, because usually when you do an SD, or an S4D in this case, you only look onto your skid marks. That's also one tip that I can give you. You get a feeling for that map, but sometimes this S4D is really hard. When do you have to trigger it? When do you cancel the first slide? All of those things. It's very, very hard to do. So, complex map, especially when you trigger this first slide. And I think also players went a bit more outside. Now the line from Shadowcrancer makes sense. Because look what kind of good of an approach he has for the S4D, for the S4D, but also Dubby. For that auto drift here. That's why he went wide. But you see, he also, you know, he has to like steer less now because he has to hold that angle. And look how far to the right he is. He also steered to the right there to get himself a good approach for the ending. But I lost so much time doing that. And then of course he has overspeed at the end. That's why he jumps to the left. So incredible. Like very, very weird map in this case, because there are so many different lines that are actually working out. Okay. Replay editor, let's go to the next map. Map 5. Also a map that I'm not really liking that much. To be honest, not really my favorite map. Let's go with this one. All right, let's check out here. Let's watch Pussy Tobacco. I think he's 5th. So we have a plastic map, a longer plastic map. And let's see what the players are doing here. Okay. Okay. That's what I didn't do in my PB because I was too bad on this map. Already see a release timing here at the end. But on plastic, similar to grass and to dirt, you want to slide when you are in 4th, but especially 5th gear. You can speed slide. So you just tap and hold a small angle, similar to like the SD that we have talked about beforehand. And that's what they're doing on this entire map. At the end, almost every player hits the inside of that grass scenery block to just get a good line across, because else you would probably have a bad apex. So they just sacrifice that some kilometers per hour to get around that corner very nicely, and also come closer to that left part here where you want to end up in, and of course smooth steer. Else you had to oversteer. That's not what you want. You don't want to oversteer. You don't want to oversteer, and then at the ending you want to go very far left to the checkpoint, as you see it here, and release to land very early, because there is a cruise control block. And rule number 1, of course, in Trackmania is to reduce airtime. That's very important, and then also wiggle at the end, which might not be worth it, but I mean, you go uphill, so you lose speed, and you know, cruise control freezes your speed to a certain amount. But if you slow down, you can accelerate again. So let's see, how much speed do they have and how much do they lose? I think you just gain a little bit of time, or lose a little bit of speed, and you gain a little bit of time with wiggling on that one. But all in all, this map is all about speed sliding, tapping, go close to that. I think this might be the hardest turn for me to set up, and also to go very far to the left and then hold the SD for the whole time. They're just tapping. You see it here very good with Pussy Tobacco, who's the POV right now. He just taps all along on this map, as well as the others. They're just tapping to hold that small angle, that small slide, in order to get yourself a good run. You're just accelerating, and yeah, it's a cool but quite hard map, especially because you can clip everywhere, have to go very close here to the right, also to reduce airtime and not even catch it. And then at the end, of course, you also want to reduce it by releasing a little bit. So I didn't really play this map too much, because I certainly didn't really enjoy it that much. But also another important factor at the start is the fact that you know, the car gears up into 5th very fast. What are players doing right now when the car is shifting into the 5th gear, they are not steering. They are all not steering. You can see it here. Because if you steer and you gear up in a drift, not on road, but in this case, they're drifting, you will lose time. So that's why they stop steering and then go into the SD again afterwards and continue the turn in this case. Then do a left-right to do it flowy. And I think that's everything about this map. Not easy, but I think if you're learning this map can be a lot of fun to play. Maybe the ending can be frustrating with that release timing and maybe overjumping or clipping a little bit. You've seen one player went for a nosedive, which I think can potentially be faster. Let's see who that actually was. Maybe it has been... who was that? Let me check. Was it Folly Brain? No, it wasn't him. Let's see. Also did. Of course, the only player that I didn't spectate was Hobbit then. Also wasn't Hobbit, dude. Am I drunk? I'm so drunk. Zodiac I didn't spectate. Zodiac I didn't spectate. So you see he's already first. But with that small clip, he still gains time. Look at that. Look how far he's ahead. Look how much time he gains with that. Wow. So this small clip actually gained him a lot of time. Damn. That's crazy to think about that. His nose went down and he just got faster due to that. Crazy. Crazy, crazy. Crazy stuff from Zodiac. Zodiac. Or I'm just gonna call him Zodi. Alright. Let's go to the next map. Map number 6. And see what this one has to offer. This is actually way easier to do as 2 people. Because now I have to constantly talk. And not everything that I say sometimes makes sense. But map 6. There you go. There you go. Whew. And of course also not a lot of chat interaction today. Super sorry guys. Hello Klausy. Hello Pantries. What a name. Hello Smash. And hello every one of you. I hope you're all doing great on this beautiful Monday. So we have this map now that is being played. So already the line at the end, if you didn't know. This line is very precise though. You can go in between here. I think it saves like 0.2 maybe. But of course, look how close you have to go here and how close you have to go there. It's not that easy to do. It's definitely not easy. So not a... you can probably do it in matchmaking, but yeah, well, it's not that easy. All right, but let's take a look how our play is doing it. So the start straightforward. You know, this first part. Want to stay far on the left. Don't catch yourself airtime here. And then steer a bit to the right in order to set yourself up nicely for the turn. And also do a speed slide. You see here, again, there's the speed slide that is taking place. That I was talking about on map 4 and also on map 5. Important here, they get a little bit more speed and also have a good setup for the turn. You then want to full steer and then do a no slide. Because you're in gear 4 and with sliding or with oversteering you would have been too fast. So you just accumulate a lot of speed and gear up before this grass patch. You know, maybe when you have played this map you have realized that you slowed down on this part because you had to turn in to the right. But there is a nasty gear that you have to get. I also had that when I discovered this map. You know, you have to wait for the steering, but of course you again want a speed set on the grass. You see it here. They are driving very, very clean again. And also oversteering a little bit to set yourself up for the turn, but they are not oversteering for it. So then there comes the drift at the end. Which is very weird because it's like a tilted block, but you have to go from up to down. So you already wanna transfer this drift here. This drift here, you wanna transfer it almost into this drift and then just take the penalty sand or penalty grass in this case. to not only slow down, but also to hit the ideal line and go into this gap here. Then, of course, minimize airtime again and go into the finish. So all in all, I would say not an easy map due to the fact that you have this this no slide, which you can easily mess up. You can do with an action key, but the rule of thumb is you oversteer and then you try to do it. And then, of course, also the drift. You can lose a lot of time there. Those two drifts in particular. But then you still have to do this very, very tight entry into the ending. I think it can be a fun map to hunt, but it can also be very frustrating. But there's not too much about it. Then just get that 5th gear and this one no slide on this map. And then, of course, just drive clean on the grass, not steer too much, and just accumulate more speed. The world record is doing it really good here. It is... No, it's not Tomashaw, but Tomashaw had the fastest start, actually. I thought that he had the world record, but man, look at his start. Holy moly. I thought that he had a world record, but look at his start. Like, he gathers up so much speed here in this section. Is so much faster, like 3 kilometers faster than the others. And, there you go. No jump before the last checkpoint? What do you mean? Didn't I talk about that? Pre-last. Yeah, but that is a no-brainer, Vabus. That's what I talked about, it, that you have to go from right to left here. You know, you go from further right, because usually you approach those drifts. You approach them. You usually approach them from those drifts. You would approach them from here, like 1 or 2 car lengths more to the left. But in this case, you just want to steer in more to the left and come more from the right. So it's a good point that you mentioned it, that we get it clear again, because maybe someone of you didn't understand it either. So I'm just gonna repeat what I said. But yeah, that's the map. No slide, gear 5, no jumps. Again, the general rules as well as the speed slides here, or the gentle steering on the grass surface. You know, oversteer there a little bit to get yourself a small SD, and then do a drift into another drift. Don't get airtime, get the ideal line, do the small cut here, and go into the ending. Map 6 in the bag as well. So far we didn't really see my most favorite maps, because I rather like those maps on the later maps a bit more. But let's go into the next one. Did I always scroll down here? Fall 2022. Let's go to map 7. Another map with a no slide. About the start, I can tell you a bit more because I hunted this map as well. So this also really helped me to do this preparation. But that's the map. So this world record has been beaten by Zodiac, and Sin had the world record beforehand. Okay, so another no slide here. Before that reset block. And then the 5th gear there as well. Whew, so much to talk about this map, to be honest. There's so much to talk about on this map. Firstly, the start, to get this one all the way. You want to do you can also do I usually do a left-right, yeah. But you want to jump as diagonal as possible. And then you can occasionally, or you can hit it. But from my experience, hitting it is really hard, is like really weird. Sometimes you lose speed, sometimes you gain speed. Of course you can do it, but I wouldn't do that. So, what do you have to do at the start? How do you get your nose down? That's like a vital key. That's like a vital key. How do you do that? You see they steering to the left, and then before that they were actually steering right. So it's a right-left movement, yeah, they set it up from the right, and then they steer to the left in a very precise manner in order to get yourself a nosedive, which is important, because this will save you a lot of time. Then, what you can do, you can release just in mid-air, but not too early, just a tiny bit, just before you are over-jumping that plastic part to minimize your airtime. Then, you have the turn afterwards, the camera is going crazy. So I'm just gonna go and have speed. I think that's better. So you set it up, Of course, don't clip here, but you can go very close here. Now it's important to go as left as possible, then go to the right, and now it's like the leap of faith. Because the more you are on the right of this reactor boost, and the earlier you are going into the nose slide, the better it is. You also don't want to lose the 4th gear. That's the most important part. I was hesitating a lot on this turn when I was hunting it, because I ended up somewhere here. Like, I did the nose slide, you know, look how early they do the nose slide. I was like even further more to the left than this ghost that you see on top. You see he has more speed, also due to him just exiting the turn a bit earlier than the others in this case, or like approach it differently. But he enters the nose slide way later. So the others are coming closer and will actually overtake that player here. Yeah, insanity. So then you don't want to air brake to do another small SD and also set yourself up for that turn. If you hunt this map, you will probably run into the issue that you will just gear up like here. Yeah, there's a nasty gear that you have to hold, the 5th gear. And I think you need action key 3 on this map, also as Chad has pointed it out. I'm doing it with a controller. So that's how I do it. So of course action key shenanigans are not that easy. But you get used to that. But action key 3 is needed. So then also a nice 3rd turn. Stay a bit further on the outside to set yourself up for this turn here, where you want to jump very close to the flag, to the 2nd one. And then do another, yeah, like somewhat SD, I would say. You can go over this edge here. You can see it here. You just get the best line. Steering is deadly on this map. So steer as little as possible at the end. And then you can do a small wiggle before the last part of the map. So that's how you do this map. I think the most important factor on this map is this right-left movement at the start. Yeah, you can release. It's not a must. Also, the touch is not a must. And then the nose slide, let's see it from Insanity's view. Not gear up into 4th, you want to be on the verge of gearing down into 3rd, but you don't want to do that. And also enter the speed slide as soon as possible. And if you go far up, you know, the further you go up, the worse of a line you just have. You see it here. But of course you also want to get that 5th gear. That's where you want to stop steering for a firm moment and then go into the slide again. That's just how you end the nose slide. That's the map. Very complex map, especially with that no jump or that low jump at the start. The right-left. I do a left-right. You can do whatever you like, but very complex. There's so many elements on this map. From this setup here where you go super close there to the wall towards the nose slide and also not gearing down, and that's just perfection here. That is a really good one here from Xin Shao exactly, but also a great fight. I mean, Insanity was coming back nicely. He literally lost it at the end. Ah, damn, but that was so close. There was such a close fight between them. Right is faster. Yes, but only like a couple of hundreds. And if you just want to go for all the time, it's not really that important. I would just go for the left, right, or right, left, whatever you like, and then you can go for it. But I literally just said that, Vabus. Are you even listening to me? I literally said at the start, I'm going for a left, right, but right, left is faster. I literally said that, man. Should I unmod you already? Man. My mod is trolling me, guys. I need help. I need help. But yeah, very important no slide. And of course, you can push it even more if you have a controller. You want to get used to that. But of course, it's also hard when you're playing Cam 1. You know, I'm tilting my head like this. I'm doing this, that, this. Sometimes it's hard to spot if you have a slide or a no slide. It's really hard. So that's the map, map 7, really cool map, a lot, like, much huntable, I would say. And map 7, not map 6. Let's go to map 8. Replay editor. Zack. Select all, confirm. Edit. And hello Zemaus and forever. Alright, we have a NASCAR map, I would say. So that's why also dopamine All of the best, if not even the best, in this style is in the top 5. So this map apparently had a test run. I'm not sure if this run is it still the test run here? Does anyone know? The world record? Anyone knows? I think it is, right? Oh yeah, dude, it looks so Tess. Tess was beaten today. I mean, I downloaded the replays at like 15. Huh. Wait, is that faster? That's not faster, is it? No. Dude, what? Yeah, I'm so confused by this guy's start here. Dude, okay. Wow. Dude, this is so chaotic. My guy, he has the worst start in history. It hesitates a lot, like here as well. And dude, what is happening on this map? I'm a bit surprised. But so start, of course. You can save it, you can risk it. But what is for sure is that you don't want to drift those turns. Not any turn on the... Dude, I cannot watch that start. Let me watch someone who has actually done the start good. Like Dexter, for example. Okay, he also didn't do it perfectly. But, I mean, it looked so slow where he hesitated here. Like, this line here for me, like, on this part, gave me... Wait, where is it? This gave me a headache. This gave me a headache. Like, that he stopped steering here. Even though it's not slower, but it gave me a headache. I don't know, dude. It's so weird. Anyways, you want to go very, very tight at the start. That's key on this map. And then one important factor on this map is that you have one drift here that is coming up. That's the only drift on this map. And you want to initiate the drift before the actual turn. Why do you want to do that? You get yourself a good setup for that turn. It's really, really good. A great apex, and then you also want to tap the brake one more time or even twice more, but only a little bit. Yeah, then you can do that turn full speed without releasing additionally. Then towards that part, important to release very early, and you can also get yourself some reduction of airtime. How does my guy Dexter do that, you might ask yourself? Yeah, he is braking. He's braking just when he lifts off. You can also go for a right-left, but then you have a bad approach for that last turn. You want to stay as far right as possible, because else you will mess up your apex. It's not really needed to go for that reduction of airtime, but it is recommended. And also when you don't have that much speed, you will not get airtime due to the reactor boost. So this is like I didn't really expect someone to bonk that ending. Not sure what he did. If it's the task run, if someone just choked, if someone found that funny. But what is for sure is the fact that... let's see how many players actually get airtime here. Is it really necessary? Because you can also just really have a good turn. Let's see what Dopamine does. Dopamine doesn't get airtime, does the same actually. Devil doesn't get airtime, also breaks. Vroom guy also breaks. This guy, who has the weirdest run in history, probably gets airtime. No, he also doesn't get airtime. So everyone breaks in the top 5 to get themselves that no jump. So that's the map. Ending then, of course, just hitting that apex and getting the most amount of speed out of it. So yeah, just don't release on that end turn. And here, of course, you want to release not that much. Also, you can set it up very far from the right. The more you go from the right here on this turn, you see it here, like the player in the spammy skin. Let's go like that. Look how far right he goes with that. maybe a bit too much to the right. Like, this looks illegal. And then the steers to the left again. But of course, they're also releasing. But the earlier you can accelerate again. That's a very fun turn. Once you get it, it's very satisfying. But this run, man, is looking really nice. Except the ending. So this might be the task run. Because he also bonked the ending. But yeah, that's the map. I think it's really important that you understand that drift at the start. You can also release there a little bit if you feel uncomfortable with it. But other than that, I think this map is fun to play and also good in matchmaking. Important to be consistent on this one. Create replay editor. I'm still not clicking the TMFL folder, guys. 9. Select all, confirm, edit. So I think this is one of the strongest world records. Let's watch the master. Let's watch Anix in this run. Because it's not working. If I click the unselect button, it's not working, monochrome. I already tried it. So Anix, he in the top 5. I think he got 4th. Or even, okay, that was 4th. Alright, so this really reminds me of AO7, this map. And also the start about BO6, I think, from Trackmania Nations. It's like a mixture, but what is important at the start is that you jump diagonal to reduce airtime and accelerate faster. You see? Why is it in a box, dude? Oh, now I have to search. Here. You see how early all of the players are landing here. You see how early they're all landing. Like, there's one wheel that is landing very early, like here. If even, like one player or like 2 players already landed. And like that you get a lot of speed. That's like the main part at the start. And then of course you wanna set yourself up nicely for that turn. Go tight towards there because you need to approach that turn from very far right. Because also here you wanna drift as little as possible and also get yourself a good angle around this corner here. Very important to go very, very close towards that and then drift as little as possible to maximize the speed. Because the speed is what you need in this part here. Because there we have a trick that I've already like anticipated when I was playing this map for the first time. And that is again combining a good landing and reduction of airtime again. Because when you cut this block here, your car will tilt. Yeah, you see it here. You will wiggle and then you will just jump lower. You see one or another player has gotten it really good. It's Karyan who got it really, really extreme. But of course with that he just got so much speed out of that. Like he's 1 car length ahead and counting. He has way more speed than the others. And then the ending, you really want to hesitate with braking in that last turn. And also, yeah, then just do everything full speed. But Karyan's run is really good. Like it's such a clean run. Let's see what he does here again. So also air braking can be done for the start to let your back tire land earlier. But Karyan got it so extreme. Also the steering I could emphasize here. Like he steers to the right and then to the left. And then he gets it really extreme. Or he doesn't even steer to the right, but you can tap a little bit to the right there to just emphasize that movement from the car. And then he just drifts at the end, goes close to the wall, and then of course it doesn't really matter where you finish because Karyan just had so much speed at the end. Whew. So Karyan with a really good run here, in particular, and everyone doesn't get airtime. Also due to the fact that you are you're still drifting when you do that that turn. Good Nacht. So you're still drifting for that. But you see also, in this case, the local player Walton didn't air brake the start, for example. So it's up to you how you do that. You can do it. It gives you maybe a bit of a better approach for that left turn. But other than that, I think this is the important part. That you get your car tilted. Walton, you can see, didn't get it as well as the others. So he jumped further and accelerated later. So look how much... Yeah, he lost a little bit of speed with that, but not too much. It's like maybe 1 or 2 kilometers per hour. So not tremendously, but he really got a good ending in exchange. So that's why he's in the top 5. But his start was really good, actually. On par with... what's that, actually, in this game? It's Piranha, who had the world record first, but he also got it really good here. Then it's really early. Had it almost as good as Karjan, but Karjan, of course, with a lot of speed. And wow, what a great ending from Karjan. Imagine he would have committed to the left there, but he was too fast for that. Yeah, so that's the map. I think pretty simple, but also very complex, especially at the ending with this part and then the drift as well. I would already consider that the ending because there's nothing happening here. From here towards this part, nothing is really happening. You just go close to the wall and then you have this drift, of course, which can ruin your day. I didn't find it that easy to do, but then of course I'm only skill checked on drifts. Alright, map 9. So if I go unselect all and I go to map 10 and select all, it actually works. Cool. Now it works. Maybe I just didn't unselect them. Now it works. Got some food. Very nice. So map 10. We have Jarene, Lyrus, Virtual, Pussy Tobacco, and Corny. I actually have Champions Medal on this map. Actually, I don't know why. I think I got it by 2000 or something. But yeah, that's the map here. Oh, we hear already a different sound from one car. So that's something that we can talk about. But firstly, let's take a look onto the runs. Then we have this ice ending. And there you go. So I think a map that can still be improved. Even though we have players like a 0.8 or 0.9 or point... Like we have a 0.8 from Corny, which is the world record right now. Or was the world record, but what is really important on this map is this whole end part. That you don't catch airtime. Like this whole end part here, that's how you can describe it. From here, from the checkpoints, you know, you approach from the... I'm just gonna start here. You approach like from the middle of the checkpoint, steer in beforehand, and then don't hit the grass here, don't hit the grass there. And what you're doing here is actually, you get a little bit of airtime and don't hit the grass. If we go into the free camera, you see it here. Maybe, I think that's better because you have a little bit of airtime. You have a little bit of airtime. Yeah, you see it here. You have some airtime. You lift off. And you just touch the grass just a little, you know? But not by a lot. And that also sets yourself up for that downhill. And that's like the important factor. It sets yourself up for the downhill. Because you want to stay as far right as possible. Because then you also no jump this one. A, you lose a bit of speed with that. B, you have a good approach. And C, it's the fastest way, of course, to do it. Then you get that flowy line from right to left. Your wheels are tilting a bit, or your car is tilting a bit, but that's of course just because you are minimizing the airtime. And then at the end, you want to have a very precise line over there. If you go too far up, you're gonna get airtime very early and you're not making the turn full speed. If you go too far down, you get airtime towards the ending. So you want to go as diagonal as possible. and then jump into the bobsleigh. This part looks very easy, and I also thought like that when I played that map, but this part is a bitch, if you can tell it like that. Landing just a little bit further to the right will result into a slowdown and also into a bad line. Because again on ice, a rule on ice is steering as little as possible is required. So that's why you jump to the right in order to use the tilt of the block that your car goes to the left. So you know you have that bending of the car or of the block, and your car bounces from there like this and then goes like in this direction. So you have to steer less. And also we can see players just doing a very clean bobsleigh at the end, just having a lot of speed, and it was a close fight at the end. Okay, let's come to the important part of the map. The start. And we see different gears. Who's the suspect? Who is the suspect who stood in 4th gear? I think it is this guy here. Gear 4, Gear 3. That's also Gear 4, I think. And then 3rd gear. But, so let's actually spectate. Let me check if he was in 3rd gear or not. Let us check. Okay, he was actually in 3rd gear and 4th gear. Wow, interesting. So you can see he has more speed, and also the world record didn't stay in that gear. So it's not really that important because you of course travel more distance, and it's not really worth like 1000% or like so much that you should go for it. But what is important at the start is that you are actually steering while going over that reset block, because you can see you are still in the water up until this point. Like they pop out very late. You can also just don't pop out when you steer, but you want to steer just a little bit when you go over the reset block in order to get yourself a bit more speed and maybe even stay in that 4th gear. But that's only possible when you go very wide or when you have like a very lucky start, but then you just barely hold it. So holding that 4th gear is of course not everything, because you also have to land smooth and flat because you have water tires. If you don't land smooth, if you're landing in a slide, you will slide out. So if you just go for all the time, just go for a maybe normal slide, steer a bit, but not too much in the water, and try to land in a no slide in order to get yourself a good line. Then you go over this here, and there's also one important factor, because every kilometer per hour matters here. You can see them going for a small speed slide before the freeway block. That's at least what I did, and got me a lot of speed. I had like more than 270 speed, or like 274 was my max, I think, or something like that. But you can't do that. You can go for a small SD here, or even a no slide or whatever. But again, you don't want to oversteer, because every kilometer per hour is important. And then of course we already talked about that ending section. But let me actually check. Maybe one player is making it a bit more obvious if he went for an... Yeah, okay, there you can see it. Lyrus went for an SD. You could have seen it there. He was oversteering a little bit more. Also, let me see if Virtual did it or not. Yeah, he also went for a speed slide. You know, again, sliding a little bit on dirt, it's, in this case, having the least, like, the tightest drift possible. And then, of course, there's the ending. Also different lines here, but all in all, it almost stays the same. So, again, a cool map, and that's, you know, the more in-depth you go in this campaign, the more fun it is to hunt. Also, Virtue had a really good start, but of course he went inside, so he had a little bit less speed. Yeah, compared to some others, especially the Gear 4 people. But it's only like 0.1 of a second, maybe make it 0.15. So, yeah, that's map 10. Very cool map, very, very nice map. Is a lot of fun to play, especially when you advance a little bit more on it. And also hello to Pete and Alex. What is happening in the chat, guys? What is happening? Oh, can we just skip this map? Oh, dude, my explanations for the first couple of maps was so bad. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it, guys. Whatever, let's just continue. So we have this map. Again, the speed sliding. And steering as little as possible, especially on this turn afterwards. And that's the first map with a cut. So on map 11 we have a cut. I tried it yesterday, I almost made it, but it's actually not that easy, to be honest. It's not an easy cut. You have a loop here to the left. Yeah, you see it right here. That's the loop. You initially go up, go around, and then jump into the end. What they're doing here is... so you need to do that to go for Champions Medal. You need to, of course, do some SDing, accumulate as much speed as possible, then steer to the right, and just beforehand, maybe you can see it. Let me actually go into the free camera for that, because I think it's important to know when you have to lift off, because it's certainly not easy. Obviously, else a lot more players would have gotten the cut, but it's just in this particular spot, and you have to steer left just beforehand, because you want your car to land upside down. Then you need to avoid the left part here, you need to avoid this pole here, and then also release accordingly. Because what you want to do at the end is steer right and accelerate to bounce into the ending. Then you want to avoid this part here, the pool border, and also this part there that one player has clipped by the name of Hobbit, and then of course make it into the ending. This card is really hard. There are so many variants that makes this card so bad. Also the fact that it's at 32 seconds on this map, or even 33. So you have to race for 33 seconds, not lose too much time. Yeah, because you need to do SDs beforehand they snowball and still execute a nice cut. Yeah, you see players releasing, and yeah, that's like not an easy cut. Probably doable with a little of practice, but I tried it yesterday also with a normal respawn. It is certainly not easy. So SDing here as well, you know, having a small slide behind your car, then go for another small SD in that loop by the looks of it, or you just go for a no set in a clean line. But I assume that they hold somewhat of an angle. Let me check. Let me check if they're doing that or not. I would say so, or just a small slide. Of course, you wanna do it very firmly. You don't wanna oversteer. But what you have to do is you have to oversteer here in this part, because you come from a left turn with a lot of left momentum, and then you need to turn to the right to get yourself also a setup for this turn to the left. So what you can do is the line that Pubber has done. Approach very far from the left, but as you can see, he has to oversteer here. And with that, he loses a lot of speed, and other players are overtaking him. But he comes back with an SD that you can also do after the dirt road transition. Of course, don't touch the pole. And then you can do another SD here due to the elevation change and the curve of the block. You can trigger an SD that you can also hold. So that's what you have to do all before that stupid cut. That's what you have to do before that stupid cut. And that's also needed to get a good time on this map. So good luck, have fun with this map. I'm not looking forward to hunt this map for Champions Medal. It's probably my least favorite map of the campaign, but cool to see still a cut map in this campaign. But again, SDs, the wiggles at the start and all of that, and then you still have to do that cut. Really good runs here. Also, players are not too far apart from each other. I thought they're like much more apart. Of course, we see discrepancies in some line or like in some parts, but that's normal. But it's cool to see that. So you have to do that over and over in order to do that cut. Whew, okay, so that was my explanation on this map, a map that I certainly hardly played. And also hello to Arizel, nice seeing you, mate. Hello. And also hello to Fabian and everyone else in the chat. We're running through the campaign today and explaining what is happening on the maps. We already have map 12, but I'm also gonna upload it to YouTube, of course. Alright. Next map coming up. Map 12. Attack map. Map 12 is the tech map. We have Patrose, Manox, Elcon, Angelo, and Nexo. And already one thing that I didn't do in my run. That's cool. So sausage tech map. Very nice to see that. Of course, we have some normal drifts here as well. This one, for example. And then also the drift at the end. Very enjoyable map, to be honest. It's a lot of fun to play. I really like it, and it's just a very good map. Wow. So, I think this one can also... is very straightforward. Maybe the start is a bit flushing for you guys. So you go from left to right. Or from right to left. But probably left to right. It's a bit faster. To avoid airtime. If you go press forward, your car will catch airtime. Like that, you will accelerate at any given moment. And you will not lose any speed or time. Because if in the air, you are not... you will not gain time. Wait, what is that even? What is this? This looked like the block wasn't connected here. Like that is like 1 millimeter apart, but it's not. But then, also here, you can minimize your airtime. We see players going for a jump, but on the other hand, wait, what am I doing? Let's watch at the Manox here. Let's see his start. So he goes from left to right to again gather up more speed. It's a bit faster, as you can see just before that drift. That's how much effort Manox puts in order to being ahead. That's how much effort he put in. Look at that. Pog. Look at that. One wheel ahead. But probably also made him feel more comfortable for this drift. So then, sausage. Underrated style, in my opinion, or underrated block. Because doing drifts on this one feels so satisfying. General knowledge about that is you want to exit this turn here from the inside and go outside, but you also want to have it with a very certain angle, because if you go from a bit further left, you will get airtime. If you go from a little bit further right, you will have less speed. Yeah, you know, if you here on the left, you will get airtime. Yeah, if you here on the right, you literally did something wrong. So how do you get that? You are going so far up here, which Manox does really nice, and then get a very, or rather late apex in order to get yourself the best line possible over this sausage block. With best, I mean like the tightest angle. Then we have a drop down here where you can go for a flow trick and then also set yourself up for the drift. I would go for the right approach here that Elcon went for because this gives you just a better approach for the drift and makes it a bit easy, and you can see also gains time with that. There's still some time to gain on this map, to be honest. And then, of course, again, reduce airtime. Don't stay on the right because this will not set your drift up. This will not set your drift up very nicely. You want to drift from the left here in order to go from the very left on this block to that right drift where you just want to tap the brake. And this drift is probably the best drift on the map. It's so much fun to do. You can get a little bit of airtime, but it doesn't matter because it drags you in a little bit more into the turn. Yeah. And then you just accumulate more speed. We see players going for a reduction of airtime here, and then with that also a nosedive because your car is tilting a bit. As we see it, Elcon doing it right here. You know, Elcon is very far on the right, as well as, yeah, 3.5 other players. The only player who didn't go for that is, I think... Okay, I thought it's Manox, but it's Nexo. And look at that. Look how much more speed his teammate has, or like the player with the same skin. Look at that. Nexo, straight. Manox. Look how much more speed he has here. Look at that. He just accelerates and accelerates and accelerates. And his nose goes down. So that's something that you could definitely implement into that. And of course you jump a bit further then, and then we have another sausage drift. Very cool drift as well, but this one is really hard because you want to go as close to the wall as possible, because you need to exit very far to the left here. And of course your car has a lot of speed. You want to hold that gear as well and not lose it. If you are drifting too little, you will have a hard time exiting this turn. So then the ending, typical tech turn. You can go wider or tighter here. I think the line from Nexo was alright because his exit was really, really close, and with that he accumulated a lot of speed, as you can see here. But the line from Manox looked a bit safer. I think you can also go for that, where you just go from full outside, but I mean he lost a lot of time with that. You see it, he dropped from a good, I think even, yeah, he was even first. You know, he was first before that checkpoint. And then with a very wide drift, he dropped to last position. So Manox actually was on world records. There's still a lot to gain. I expect someone like Karyan doing really good on this map. But all in all, a really cool map. Optimized start, good drift, still time to gain here, as well as in this drift after that, but it's hard to estimate. And obviously the approach for the no jump is even more important. But Manox went super, super tight there. Also lost a lot of speed. Look at that. The others are coming closer, having more speed for that drift here, because you only want to tap for the angle. But maybe Manox did that to set himself up nicely for that drift, because with less speed, this might be...
I bought bits.
This might be his goal. Maybe he did this drift here tighter to be more inside on this corner. Only theory crafting here, because he could also hit that apex. But with that, of course, he got himself a lot of speed. So maybe that's the negotiation. But that is only theory crafting here. But good starts up until, like, good everything from him up until this ending. But really cool to see that that there's so many things still on this map that can be improved. Again, a very complex sort of map, if you just think about it more, you know. This drift here at the start can be hard to mess up, but it's a fun map to play, especially if you haven't really played tech too much. It's a good practice map, it's a lot of fun at the end, and it rewards you with a super satisfying drift here on that right turn. Also, thank you so much, Miss, for the 50 bits. I bought bits. Oh no. Should I be scared or what? Don't spend all at once, Miss.
Let's go. I have more of them.
I have more of them. Yeah, man. Oiling again, Miss. Thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it. So, that's it here on this map. Oh no, I pressed the wrong button. And we are at the halfway mark. We are now coming to map 13. Unselect all, select all, confirm. Wait. Okay, so you have to unselect them when you're in the menu here. So now I need to go to 13. But thank you so much for the bits. I really appreciate it. Oh god, dude, what is happening, guys?
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. Man. Who's oiling again? It's Emmy. Thank you for the bits as well. Now I'm confused. The replay editor. Hello, hello. I hope... Did I remember that name correctly? It was Emmy, right? Was it? I hope so. Else it's embarrassing. XCD is the worst emote on Twitch. I respect your commitment. I respect your commitment not writing XCD. Bro, dude, you know what? You stand to that, and I respect to it. You didn't write it. I respect it. But hello, hello. I hope you're all doing great. We're analyzing the campaign today. Yeah, and thanks for the oiling. I appreciate it. Thank you, Amy, and also Miss, for the bits. Thank you, thank you. All right, let's go to map 13. Oh my god. Thank you for stopping by yesterday. Don't worry. I enjoyed the vibe. It was great. Wait, was it yesterday? Yeah, it was Yeah, it was yesterday. Oh my god. I thought it was Saturday, but my day yesterday was... Guys, I was so tired yesterday. I was in a kids amusement park with my nephew all day. I slept 5 hours. At 11, I fell asleep and I slept like a rock. I woke up at 7:30, fully slept out. That was the best feeling. I loved it. And also hello to Zuzi, by the way. All right, so we have this map. Very interesting map. Gives you an idea what this campaign is about, but also very unforgiving. Very, very hard map. And we have a slow-mo part at the end, we have a freeway part before that. Reminds you of one campaign map that we've had where you could also skip the slow-mo block in a previous campaign. But let's go into it. Let's go into it. So we have this turn here at the start. Very important that you don't get up into 4th gear. And you also don't drop the gear, that you don't drop into 2nd. So you do that by releasing, but you also release here to get yourself a good approach over this part. If you don't release accordingly, you have to oversteer and run into danger to either lose the gear or to end up a bit further outside here. Like we talk about like 1 or 2 tires. So that is really, really important to know. You just want to release a little bit for the angle, for the approach itself, to not oversteer, and also to set yourself up for that turn. Now important, that you steer in also early there. You can then go for a no-slide after that, but you don't have to do that. The no-slide is not really needed. This is no-slide here to the right. You can do that, like you see Mime, you know, when he steers to the right there, he goes for a no-slide, and then fully steers in again, to avoid getting airtime here, approaching that turn from a bit further right in order to get a late apex for that turn, and also to not drift on this turn here. So just maximizing the speed is really, really important. And then you are just barely avoiding that inside wall here. And then of course also minimize airtime here. Go for a very awkward drift, to be honest. This drift feels really weird. I'm not really a fan of it. I like the approach from Mime not that much, to be honest. Because it's, for me, too far inside. And then also the other turn gets a bit harder. I like the approach from Zodiac, from TJ, and also from Pussy Dupaco. Because with that, you just end up more right. You hit the apex a bit earlier. And in this case, or later in this case. And your car is more to the right. So you see it here. This car here, which is 7, and also Mime, they are full on right here. And that makes it hard to avoid this corner. This corner is really, really hard to avoid. Yeah. So now into the freewheel part we go. Of course, you no-slide and you don't want to hit the penalty surface here. And then go very close there. You can go for a small no-slide here as Mime is doing it. And then go into a drift. Or... not even into a drift, but I think you can go into a drift there when you do that. Yeah, just a little bit. But you go into a drift before that and not on the tarmac. That's what I wanted to say. All right, then of course, get yourself a no jump, get into 4th, and drop down into 3rd again. As you hear it here, you gear up here. And then gear down again, even into 2nd gear this. So it is really, really, really difficult. Then the ending is just full steering and tapping during the ending. Go close to the triangle, as you can see it here, and go close to the pole. I like this ending actually. It's a good usage of the slow-mo block. Firstly, I thought that you could maybe cut the ending. That's what was my first discovery run. But that's the map. I think map 13, quite tricky. Especially with that start and also the second grass part. Or like the whole grass part, but the second grass part of the first part. Yeah, you know, this holding of the apex. But yeah, you gear up and you gear down into 2nd because of your very aggressive landing. But you have to do that, and yeah, that's the map. Probably very annoying to hunt, also due to the start, because you have to release and not gear up into 4th. And there you have it. That's the map. Map 13. I think nothing really much more I could say other than this drift here. You want to go that outside because you want to have as much speed as possible. You know, Mime's line wasn't optimal there. So that's why I also went for a different line when I hunted it. Also, this part can be very hard because you need to jump to the left here, of course. Because you want to exit this one with a... You, of course, land that in a drift. But you want to exit it with a no slide and accumulate as much speed as possible. You can hit this gap here, like this one. This one, the line here. Where is it? This line, or like the block, yeah, because the elevation change is real. And then you can also clip and lose speed. Probably can also be used to just drag yourself a bit more inside and have a bit more speed. But I've actually seen one player clipping it. I think it was the black car. Spectator. Let us check here. This camera is way too dank, by the way. I think Zodiac clipped. No, he didn't. Who clipped? Who clipped? Was it actually Elcon, right? Mime. Why do I say Elcon? Just because I see that car skin. Nah, I think I'm tripping. Vabus clipped? Yeah, dude, of course he did. But you want to avoid that, because then you lose speed and of course also grip. Or you lose grip and with that speed. Alright. Next map. Unselect all, suck, 14. Select all. Edit. But guys, if you have anything to add, just tell me. So, guys, can we get a Drake for map 14? Because after 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 9 campaigns, we have the first multi-lap map. Wait, what? What is happening, Susie? So, the first multi-lap map of the entirety. There is a multi-lap map here. Oh boy, and there's a lot to talk about this map. Whew. You don't know, guys. You don't know. There's a lot to talk about on this map. I think this map is very complex because there is a lot of gears that you have to hold. And a very precise jump in the middle. Or like after the multi-lap and at the start, of course. But I would say that the second jump is a bit harder. Oh my god. And then there's also a lot of nasty gears to hold on this map. Alright, let's start with the analysis on this map. So, the start. You go for a very, very aggressive jump. As you see here. And then you want to release in the air. You can also release beforehand. I think that's what some of the players have done. Just release a little bit beforehand to get yourself a good angle. But what is now really important is the fact that you tilt your car a little bit. Yeah, you want to tilt your car a little bit here, as you can see it. Okay, one player goes for a different line, but you see all the players go like a bit further to the left. There's one player not doing it. And it is Lufok actually, who has the world record. But with that, of course, he goes super far to the right. He oversteered and went into a no slide. And what is also really important, that you hold the gear. When you release too much on this first part of the map, you're gonna drop down into second gear and you have massive problems. Then gear up into fourth. Ending here also important. You can release in this turn to get a better apex. But also here there is a gear. You gear up into fifth. Or you can gear up into fifth. You want to avoid that as much as possible. And let's...
Love the new content.
What do you mean new content? What is happening today? Why so many bits, guys? Dude, Remustein, thanks for the 1k bits, brother. Holy shit. And also hello to Limey Lime. Hello, hello. Yeah, that's a lot. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So I geared up a lot of times on that part. And that's something that you don't want to do. So that I also learned something new. I thought you want to go for 5th gear there, but you don't want to go for that. So then at the end, you also want to do, yeah, you want to replicate it just with a drift instead of a release turn, because you want to hit that angle. And if you're fast, of course, your car is going further up and all of that. So you want to drift to get that angle. Then go for another no slide. Cancel the no slide when you gear up into 4th, not losing the gear beforehand. Go for a small wiggle beforehand. And then again, go to the ending where you can go very inside. And then you can actually gear up here. Let me actually check. Do they all not gear up after that drift? Like, let me check. Is no one here? Is no one in gear 5?
I got you, homie.
Damn, dude. I didn't even think about that.
Mustine has gifted us up to Susan Brenton.
I didn't even know that no one is in gear 5. Let us check here. You're in 4th gear. You're in 4th gear. You're also in 4th gear. You're also in 4th gear. I mean, it makes sense because you drop the gear after that anyway, but you can get 5th gear here. So that's why they're probably oversteering here and not releasing. But what the world record has done, Lupok, is just a way different line. He's just so far ahead already. He has so much more speed than the others. You see it here. Yeah. I mean, you can release here, but I've also seen players oversteering. So that's like important. Also, Giuliano, I really appreciate it that you give us your knowledge. It's so important. So that's what it lives from, guys. If you have any suggestions, anything that you want to add, maybe something that I've missed, because, you know, I am knowledgeable about the game, but sometimes I can just not see everything. But interesting. You don't want to get that 5th gear. You can acquire that by oversteering or just releasing. Then also do it here. Don't want to gear up, and then go into another no slide. Don't gear down into the lower gear there, or don't lower gear. And then at the end, it doesn't matter if you gear up or not. But of course, you are slowing down anyway when you jump, so that's important. And also, Remustein with a sub gift to Susie. I really appreciate it as well. Thank you, thank you. So all in all, a very, very cool multi-lap map because it's so simple, but there are so many things that you have to consider. It's the release timing at the start, you know, that you jump very, very tight and end up in a no set afterwards, not dropping the gear. Gear up, go for a small wiggle, yeah? Then do this turn. Not gear up before 2nd lap, stay in 4th gear, drift into the wall, and also minimize airtime there and just do everything of that again. So, a very cool map, I really like it, but it's also very tricky to play, especially that 2nd jump. Very, very nice map though, I like it. So, that's the first multi-lap map of the Trackmania 2020 campaign. More to come, please. Let's go to map 15. Select all, confirm, edits. Full speed map. Oh, I've played this one actually. I've played this map. Oh no, 16 was the full speed map, never mind. 15 was the Dingsbums map. I just got champion medal on this map. This is not the full speed map. I mean, it's full speed up until the drift.
I am so fucking happy.
Alright, so there you have it. Really, really cool map, and a lot of things to talk about here as well.
__ just subscribed. Now this is a handsome streamer. You woo.
And yo, Invalid, also with a resub, coming closer to a hype train. Much appreciated. Thank you, thank you. The scam train is coming closer. Thank you for the support. Thank you for that support. Alright, so, map 15. Oh boy. Also, guys, join the raffle. Join it. Join. Okay, map 15. I struggle a lot on this map. But I think I also understood a lot on this map. So, start, of course. Go as close as possible. Then minimize airtime here. And also get yourself a good approach for that left turn that is coming up. So then, of course, you want to let go of your steering because oversteering on dirt is deadly. So go very close to the wall, set yourself up for that left turn here as well, where it is really important that you already try to speed slide here and set yourself up for that right turn. Because what comes now is probably the thing that I've understood very late on this map. We see right now, I think it's Uso, yeah, who's going for an SD here all along. Yeah, up until this point. He also got some airtime. But what you want to do on this turn is, maybe let's follow Stufts. You want to start the drift. Oh, mate, Stufts is not doing the line that is actually the fastest. Let's go with Uso. Uso goes very wide, and that has a reason. You know, you see Stufts here? He also caught it really well, but he has a bit less speed now coming into this part. And I think that's due to the fact that he went very tight here. Because what is coming up here is a water part, and you see one patch of sand here on this part. You see one small patch of sand. And what is really important there is the fact that you reduce your time on that sand as much as possible. We see Stufts here, who is in I think in this skin here. Wait, let me go into in this skin. I mean, he got it really good, but the others have more speed by going wider. Yeah, by going wider, they have a bit more speed. You know, and you can see they are just coming closer in the water just a little. Maybe didn't have the best water part. This could also be. But for me, it felt like when I go wide, and that's like my rule of thumb. Maybe some of you in the chat can just say something more about it. When you go wide here, you just have more speed coming into this part, which obviously makes sense, but it also rewards you with a better line that you have to touch less of the sand. It worked out really well for Stufts, that's why he's also in the top 5. But for me, it felt like that it is a better line. So, then go for a right-ish turn. Turn to the left, don't get airtime here, a little bit is fine. And then this turn here. Oh god, dude, I died so often in this turn. Because there are so many things that you have to do. You have that transition from dirt to road. You have to drift a little bit. And then you have the dirt transition. There's a sign here to the left, which you have to avoid. And there's also a gear. You can gear up into 5th here, which you want to avoid by either releasing or hitting a little bit of the penalty surface. Not only does it give you a better line, but it also makes you steer less on this turn. So then you let go of the steering, tap, 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 hold the gear, and then go into the drift. And now we come to the probably worst part of the map, the ending. You have to wallbang here. Yeah, you see it here. We see different approaches, but everyone kind of hits the same. We see one very late hitter. Who is that actually? I'm not wondering if it's Stufts. No, it's not. It's Insanity with a very late hit. And Insanity has a really good run here. I mean, look at his ending, guys. His ending is so good. It's such a good ending. Wow. But for me, the hit was pretty random. Sometimes you just fly off. Sometimes you end more on the left. Sometimes you end more on the right. It was super hard to do. Because you have to, of course, get a good turn around that. Go close to those light pillars to not steer as much as possible on this right-hander on top. And then, of course, anticipate your turn again to go very close to that turbo block here. And then, of course, you can end here on the left where you have to steer less again. You can see that this car will lose a bit of time towards Zodirak. And that's just the map. But for me, this wall hit was super random. There's probably a good line for that, but we have seen a lot of different approaches as well. Probably you should use what works best for you. But the start is really important, that you hold an SD and gather up momentum. You know, you go for that left turn here, and now you're already starting this speed slide right there, like even earlier. You go a little bit from here. You see this one car doing it very aggressive. It is Uso. He goes from super far left compared to the others, and then already starts the speed slide very early, and also his approach is really important for that, you know. And then he just holds that SD with a small slide, goes for another one when he gears up into 5th, wants to stop steering there for a second, and then goes for an auto slide. So that's how I would do the start from Uso. Also good amount of speed. Maybe he could have drifted a little bit less. Not gearing up. We hear one player gearing actually up into 5th. but you instantly lose it again, so you just lose a little bit of time. Maybe that was actually, was it Argo? No, maybe it was Zodiac. No, it wasn't him. Who was it? Also not Insanity. I would... Argo, maybe? Also not Argo. Stufz. I think it was him. So you don't want to gear up there, but it also doesn't really matter that much. You know, sometimes it's really hard to figure those things out when you hardly see them, but or when you cannot really see them that much. But this left line is really hard, I can tell you that. And also, see Alex, clean up your room, mod time. What do you mean cleaning up your room, dude? I also have a sunburn, guys. Oh my god. Let's go to map 16. Let's go to map 16. I think I'm still top 50 on this map. Even though I'm not a good full speed player. But this map is really nice. You might be saying, oh, Resident Sleeper. Oh, we have this loop there. But it's actually a cool one. And also I want to definitely emphasize on, I think Darkbringer. Or maybe the others. I think Darkbringer did a really good time here. So, SD Heaven on this map. But also, it is no side heaven, which is really important on this map. But let's go into the analysis. So, tight start. What is that? What is that car skin here? Interesting car skin. So, tight start. Important here to not drift. You can have some sort of skid marks, but you don't want to drift because then you will lose speed. Then go close to that left wall to set yourself up for that turn. Just travel as little distance as possible. And then what's now important is that you approach this part from the very, very right. And you do it because then you get the best approach possible and also the most speed possible from that looping. Because what you're doing in the looping, and I think this cam shows it the best, you don't want to drift a lot. This will still happen, but you don't want to drift. And now what the others are doing, they're using this drift momentum that you have from the loop, like here, this one, from the very left to trigger and speed slide. Lord in heaven. So you're just above the threshold, and they are triggering an SD and getting themselves a better angle and a bit more speed. Just a little bit. Now here, after that, you in camp 3 here, you can also do a small speed slide, also needed to gather up speed. Oh, dude, see this Apple is doing it so well here. And now the important part. On this one, this is so important to do, because if you oversteer here, you're at 700 kilometers per hour, you will slide out. So what do you have to do? Action key 4. Action key 4 is needed here in order to not slide out. Then you can do all of that full speed. This whole left turn. Action key 4 is needed, or just tapping, or, you know, holding an angle with your pad, but that is super important. Also, of course, that you go very early to the left in terms of not ending up somewhere here to the right where you get a really bad approach for the corkscrew. That's not what you want. You don't want to have a bad approach for that. It's really important that you go as far left as possible. Seeing as Apple is doing it really well, and also Darkbringer, of course, is just on another level. And then, of course, minimize airtime here. You can slide there a little bit, but the angle is more important on this part, as well as minimizing airtime here. Then there's another small SD here, which you can trigger by oversteering. Seeing as Apple also didn't go for that, actually, surprisingly. I thought that he would go for that. But you can see he's just losing a little bit of time towards the other players, even though he had overspeed due to a good landing in the loop. And then another speed slide at the end by oversteering and almost overtakes Harry Polotter. Dude, what a name. What a name, dude. Harry Polotter. What a name. And hello Stormy. And everyone else. So let's see. how they do the loop. So Harry Polotter slid a little bit, but had a really good exit from there. So maybe that's also needed. Maybe that also was a small SD. This could also be, but this one was really good. Very aggressive SD. But let's take a look onto Dropsaur. How did he do that start? Also a fellow member of the Trackmania community. Very nice guy. But he hardly slides in the loop, and you can see that he has a good amount of speed. I would also do that. Some players were sliding a little bit too much for my taste, but I think Dropsaur did it really well. Also here, very good line over that corkscrew section. Nice SD there as well, getting a bit more speed than P number 3, which is complex, and that's why he won some time. So good to see that, complex on P3. And now we watch Darkbringer. Fasten your seatbelt, guys. Fasten your seatbelt. Because my guy not only did this SD here, but he also had such a great SD on this part. Like, look how much speed he has. Lord in heaven. Complex, unfortunately, ended up here to the right. And could have maybe steered a little bit more, but let's take a look onto the approach. Both had a similar approach by the looks of it. But what was the game changer in this run was the fact that he was more on the right before this left turn. You see it here. This amount more. And that's why he ends up having a way better apex and complex losing a little bit of speed. So Darkbringer with a really good run here. This will be a hard nut to crack. But surely it's doable with a tiny better start. He lost a little bit there, but that was a great run. So a very, very nice run here from Darkbringer. I really like that run, and also it's a different full speed up again. That's another credit for this campaign. You know, this loop, which just utilizes you to think different, because the loop will decide a lot of your speed up until this point. Then you have this turn where you don't want to speed slide. Like, it's such an interesting concept, and I really like this map. It's a cool concept, a cool map, and yeah, I'm looking forward to playing this in matchmaking, or playing this in matchmaking. So map 16 done. Unselect all, and let's go to 17, a map where I did top 40 yesterday. And we have a world record by Granadi. Scrappy on second, Haskell on third, Piranha on fourth, and Zodiac on P number 5. Fuck, I'm the non-sub again. Yeah, something like that happens. But guys, again, thank you so much for that support today already. Remustein with the bits and the sub gift, Invalid with a restub. Shorty, aka Emmy, with the bits, as well as Miss. I really, really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much. And then, of course, we have Bestie resubbing, and Granadi and Birdie with a raid. Thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. And let's go to map 17. Oh, just nerding about Trackmania. I'm also now more in the zone than before. And I should have maybe practiced or like prepared the first couple of maps a bit more, because I just noticed some things beforehand. But I think now we're good to go. So, map 17. Let's watch the run. So, plastic map. Plastic with tech. Transitional stuff here on this map. And let's see what actually Piranha's doing here, because he ended up in fourth. We have an interesting hit here. Also, again, like such a unique style of a map. Such a different vibe to it. Just super nice. Super, super nice. And then we have a different line here towards the ending from Granadi, just gathering up a little bit more speed by not jumping on that platform. And the ending, also a bounce. Alright, so the start. Very important to, of course, don't full steer at the start, but you want to steer. Go close to that corner here. Don't slide on the plastic block. And now, I think this really makes up for a lot of time at the start. It's the fact that you, again, have to go very close here. No slide on that part here as well. And then just before you enter this block, go into a no jump to the right, to go to the left again, and then stop your steering, because you will enter gear number 4. And what have we learned, guys? If you steer while gearing up on a slippery surface, you're gonna lose speed. It's very important to be in a no slide here, but on the other hand, you also have to enter super far on the left to get this turn here correct. You see how close it is. It's such a hard line. It's also so weird to do. I was actually going too far to the left when I played this map for the first time, and when I was hunting it, I was oversteering here, losing speed, and that's not what you want to do. You don't want to slide there in any given moment. That is super important, because now you jump into that turn. Yeah, you can release here. You've seen one player releasing here. I think it was Haskell, who was releasing here in order to get yourself a good approach for that turn. You see he can turn in a little bit earlier than the others. But the only thing that you should take away from that one is that you want to hold that 4th gear. That is really important on this map. Let go of your steering a little bit. Let the turn die naturally, I would say. And just don't oversteer. Yeah, that's why they're going so far up. Especially Granadi, you know, the wheel abuser, goes like that. Then, we have this drift here to the right. You want to full steer beforehand and then exit the turn as soon as possible to not have skid marks and accelerate faster again. Yeah. Then a very wide drift, very weird drift to be honest, because it's again all about the setup for the next drift, where you again want to steer as little as possible and go as close as possible to the wall. Piranha did it really well, and you can see it here. He's so far on the inside, and look how much speed he gains towards Haskell, who did an oversteer movement. And that's just the one-to-one comparison here. Haskell going super far inside. Maybe you think that's the better line. But look, he oversteers here. Zack loses speed. And who comes closer? Granadi and also Haskell. Granadi did a really mixture line, or a mixed line between all of those things. And I think this worked really well for him. Now we have the hit here on top, where you want to steer a little bit to the left beforehand. And you want to hit with your top right, or with your front right wheel, to rotate your car. What is really important in this landing is the fact that you have to land in a wait, where's the part actually? That you have to land in a no slide, or in a as little as a slide as possible. Because what happens after that? Yeah, you know, there's something called gears in Trackmania. You will actually not gear up. Never mind. I thought that you're in 3rd gear, but you're not. Okay, but you gear up on a different part. Oh, do you gear up? Wait a second. Wait a second. No, you don't gear up. Oh, man, the thing is bugged. Dude, that's so annoying. I don't see the right gears. I think they gear up. Or am I tripping? Of course they do. Man, why is this thing bugged? Oh my god. I don't want to tell anything that is not true. Wait, why is it at 359? Okay, there's one car that isn't at 359. Okay, so holding gear 4 again. Yeah, let's watch Scrappy here. Yeah, but the lights are also frozen. Like the 300 thingy is frozen. So, don't gear up into 5th. Yeah, you gear up into 4th there. That's what I was saying. You gear up into 4th there, and that's why you have to land in the straightest moment, or in the straightest line possible. Yeah. Then you have this part here as well. You know, you can just do some extra steering movements there, but it's not really needed because you need to set up for the turn, and you want to do it in a no slide. Then drift here, don't get airtime, do all of that full speed, and this turn you want to approach from far left, full steer right, and then let go of your steering. Because what is really important for this jump, if you go for the jump like Scrappy, is that you A, jump as far as possible, and B, don't oversteer to the right. You want to jump very close to the right corner here to hold that 5th gear. That is so important. You will lose a lot of time in the ending. And then you can also go for an air brake, which Scrappy did to minimize air time. Let's not talk about the Will Abuser Granati for a second. Let's talk about Scrappy, who also does some nice SDs here in the ending on the plastic. And then just gets himself a good ending. Let's talk about Granati's line. Because I think a lot of players have spotted this line in the first couple of hours. Yeah, we have an elevation change here. Common sense is that you want to land on the high ground, but what Granati did is he only landed once. Here. Very risky line, and then not catching airtime to have more speed for the ending. Like a significant amount. But Scrappy also had it really good, so it was actually an even fight. It's not really that worth it, because you could have also seen that Scrappy had it really good here, this whole turn combination. But if you do it correctly, like Granati did it, it's really good. Scrappy hardly slid on the landing, which will lose you the gear if you slide there. So equal line, but Granati with a better ending eventually stays ahead. So very cool map, not easy to do, especially with that start being super tricky. No slide here. You know, then you can release, not needed, but you want to hold gear 4, let go of the steering to hold that gear, and then you enter the drift by almost immediately cancelling it again, going for a wider line to minimize steering here as well. Then hit the plastic top, land in a no slide, gear up again, go for a drift. In terms of the transition, will do the thing for you. Hold gear 5 here, minimize drifting here as well. Jump to the right, minimize drifting as well to hold gear 4, air brake to minimize air time and not bump. Speed slide here at the end, not oversteer. Speed slide here in the exit and jump into the ending. That's the map, a very cool map, a lot of fun to play, very addicting, and probably one of my favorite campaign maps of this whole campaign. My favorite campaign map of this whole campaign. Yeah. Man, why am I talking so much? I'm just nerding about Trackmania, guys. Don't mind me. 18. Oof. This map, guys. This map is really hard. It's indeed very hard. Because on this map we have a lot of no slide shenanigans. We have a lot of gear manipulation. And just dirt that is very unpleasant to drive. Yeah? So let's watch the times. Let's watch forever who's on 5th place. Yeah, all the time on this map is not easy. So if you got all the time on this map, you have understood what dirt is about, I would say. Yeah, it was also on the trailer, wasn't it? Okay. Wait, who unmodded you? Wait, what has happened, guys? Oh god. Oh, there's so many things to talk about on this map, but there's also one part that I'm not really aware of on this map, and that's the part of with the booster and the right turn. This one is really hard. Maybe Forever can give us more of an insight there, but let's go for the start. So start. You are in. All right, so you're in 2nd gear and you want to do a no slide. Else you will lose a lot of time, and you will gather more speed here as well. You take the more direct approach, so you want to release to go for a no slide. Pretty easy, not that hard to do. Also doable with keyboard. And then you go from the far left to the far right, almost hit that tree here to go for the direct line as well. And of course, again, you want to steer as little as possible. Set yourself up nicely for that turn. Very interesting dirt combination here. And then, yeah, well, the carnage starts on this map. This carnage starts on this map. So here you have this this transition, which is really awkward to drive. As you see, Forever did the part beforehand a bit poorly. Let's actually see what he did wrong. He exited further right and entered the turn further left. That's how he lost the speed. So this resulted in him going to inside here probably and going out more here. So that's how he lost the speed. You want to stay as inside possible, as inside here as possible. So forever lost some time with that. And now into the jump. You want to hold gear 4 here, you can lose it. You can touch a little bit of the penalty surface here to get yourself a good line. And then you can
I am very tired and have to wake up soon. Take care.
Wake up.
Smile.
Wake up soon. Yo, Emmy, thank you so much for joining. Also, Emmy is streaming. Make sure to check her out. Very likable person. And thank you so much for the support. And I just really appreciate you being around, as well as all of you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, and good night. Have a good sleep. Thank you for joining. Alright, so you can hit the penalty surface here a little bit. And now, what they are doing. Now you see here? Yeah, you see that? Let's actually go with the Shadow Crancer, because this line is vital to understand. Shadow Crancer tilts his car to get himself a nosedive and lands in the curb accordingly. It's not really that worth it for that risk that he takes in. I like the line from the first player a bit more because he lands way too early. That's option A. Option B is the variant that you just overjump by 10,000 miles like Forever is doing it. I would say Forever's run is really basic and early on because he didn't do a lot of tricksters. The start, for example, was not optimized. The left turn and also this part. You know, he just jumps to Narnia here. It worked out. He holds that gear, but he also lost additional time there as well. Okay. So, what did the world record do? Why is Lyrus so far ahead? What did he do? He had a really good line, also went for that one, but had it a little bit better. And with that, landing smooth in here. That is a beautiful line. You could also go for, if you're feeling uncomfortable with that, you can also just approach it more from the right here. From that block there. Wait, do you actually see my mouse cursor? Yeah, you do. From that here, from that part. But this is, of course, not the best line that you can take. Lyrus is doing it really well. Why is the car pointing down again? It's like the same thing as on 07, I would say. You are in a flowy movement, and your nose is just going down towards that because there's so much momentum going on. You know, your car wants to go to the left in this way, and that's why it goes down in that way. And he has a really good start. Now the 180-degree turn. Also very awkward. Takes out a lot of momentum from the map. A lot of speed that you have accumulated. And you have to go as close as possible here. You know, Deska also didn't really got it perfect. But it was enough to hold that gear. Now, of course, also this turn. You know, you gear up into 40 like, oh my god, finally this map gets playable. But then you have this turn again, and what happens? You gear down. Into this part we go, and now a part that I don't really understand up until this day. You know, you have this wobbly part into the booster. What I understand is that you hardly want to get airtime, but you have to hold. Like, what is really important? This is now really, really important. You want to hold. You can drop into second gear here. You know, you're so slow. But you don't want to do that. You want to stay in third gear and gear up before or just after that. If you do that, you will lose a lot of time. It's all about this approach that you have to do correctly. You go from full right into full, yeah, like middle left-ish. And then go as early as possible onto the booster. Let's see how the other players are doing that. But you don't want to... Oh, he's doing it really good. Actually goes very inside, very aggressive to minimize distance. Shadow Crancer is ahead and Zodirak is on third right now. But not gearing down is vital in this turn. Also get a clean landing here. You can use that curb of the block or that elevation change of the block to get yourself a smoother landing, what Shadow Crancer did, and got himself a more inside approach. But of course, you can exit this turn in a no slide So they're catching up again, as you see here. Then you're gonna drop down into third gear again. Gear down, gear up again. And finish. So again, don't want to steer when you gear up. This map is very advanced. It's a very hard map to play, and also the gaps are getting more and more. And also good night to Zuzi. Thank you so much for joining. So, did I miss anything, Forever? Did I miss anything? I don't know. I think I've almost mentioned all of it. Maybe Forever can add something that I've forgotten. Or maybe something that I've gotten wrong. The booster dumps through ring checkpoint? Ah, yeah, sure. I think you mean the fact that you need to approach from the outside. You know, that you minimize airtime from here. You go from the full left and then steer into the right to minimize airtime and also get yourself a good angle for that turn. The problem is on this turn, if you, or from this part, if you stay more on the left here, your car will tilt even more and you get a very, very bad landing. Yeah? And yeah, sure, you also keep the gear with that. So if you didn't do that, you would have not kept the gear because you probably jump too far and also your landing is awkward. I think that's how we can say that. Wait, where's the air coming now? Where's the air coming my way? It's my Go XLR. Maybe I'm talking too much. I'm super sorry, Go XLR. But okay, so apparently you don't hold that gear. Otherwise. But let's go to the next map. I don't really like this map. So let's go to map 19, I mean. Unselect all. Let's see. Select all, suck, edit. So we have 7 more maps. And yeah, this is also a cool style. Reminds me of the water grass map from the previous season. Just that the water grass map was really, really weird, to be honest. I didn't really like that. I didn't really like that map at all. And now we have an ice grass map. So my Mika, Monkey, Kappa, and Kek Dreams are in here. And no sled there. No sled needed. Holding the gear here. Holding the gear on this landing as well. But you're already in 4th due to that. And then the ending here as well. We snap out. There was a cut idea here, but it's not worth it. Alright, but let's go into this map. So, at the start, nothing really is happening on the first couple of blocks. We have this party to the left where you wanna stay as left as possible. Maybe that was a bit too riskier from Kappa. From Kek Dreams, I mean Kappa has the world record. But you wanna steer in left already beforehand to get yourself a very good approach for that ice slide. Let go of the steering. You only want to go for like a very short ice slide because you need to exit the ice slide already here quite early. Let's actually go ahead with Monkey in this ice slide. So you go like that and let the ice slide there already. Get a smooth entry into that turn. You're in 4th gear, and now the important, I would say probably the most important turn with the long left-hander, long downhill left-hander comes in, because now you want to hold that gear. You don't want to drop the gear, so how do you do that? You go from the very outside, or like from quite far outside, as you can see here. Players almost touching that scenery block into the turn, and then go very close to that pole as well. But since you have a very, very wide approach from the left, you're able to hold that gear. They're going very close to that pole there, and then stop steering already to hold that gear, and then go up again, accelerate on that downhill a little bit, and then you go and grab that checkpoint. Hold that gear, very important. And now we go to the ice wall. You can ice slide it, but it's usually better to not do so, because A, it gives you a more controlled approach, because if you go for that ice slide, you sometimes have the problem that you have to release to get out of the ice slide, and in this case you don't. So Well done here from Monkey, who got it really well actually. Has a lot of speed by going pretty far up. But of course you need to also control now this left turn. You still have icy tires. And also now here it's important to hold 4th gear. You want to tap, you want to firmly steer, not gear down. You usually gear down like somewhere here in this moment. You don't want to do that. And then also gear up just after the checkpoint. Open up your steering again. Go into the turn, go over the penalty surface. And then drop the gear again. But it doesn't matter because you go into the ice. Coupled with a great ice slide. You know, even drifts beforehand, which is quite interesting because he snaps out like that. A, does it give him a better approach for that one and also a bit more speed? Because you don't want to be here full on the left. You want to actually take that ice slide very wide in order to get a good approach for that last turn. Because the more you're on the left, the more you will be on the right here on this turn. You will stay here, you will have less speed. You want to stay as inside as possible here. Kappa almost flying out here to also again steering as little as possible. Look at Kappa. Kappa accumulating so much speed, going so inside in all of those and all of this ending section. So really good ending there from Kappa. Let's actually go with Mika for that one. So looking really good. Looking really good here from Kappa. Let's see how this player here does it. See, just Kappa has way more speed than him. Just a little bit. But then in this case you can call it way more, even though you also get a really good ending. Alright, cool map, very nice concept. Also one of my favorite maps. This will be a lot of fun in matchmaking. And let's go to map number 20. Man, are you memeing me or what? Man. Select, oh, map 20. We almost gone, guys. Hope you guys having fun. So map 20. Also, again, a different style. It was really helpful, thanks. Hello, Emma. Glad you find this one helpful. I'm just nerding about Trackmania at the moment. Okay, so map 20. Okay. Already one thing that I hardly did. Oh, you go for a drift there. Oh. Ah, okay. I learned also a lot here. I learned 2 things here on this map already. You can hold the gear there actually. Some players have lost it. Lord in heaven. What are Solivagen and Zodirect doing? So, let's go into the map. We have this right turn where you can exit with a somewhat of a no slide and then wiggle here just before it, but it's not really that important. What is important is that approach for that turn, because you can do this turn here full speed by going super close to the left there. Then of course steer in accordingly, halt that apex, but you have to know, the more speed you have, the closer you go to that block here, and the more you have to steer and the closer you go to that border here. And of course also you have a lot of speed, because you don't want to gear up here as well. You want to stay in 4th gear, you don't want to gear up, and you can also over jump this small corner here. Hello. Which I think one of the players has done a little bit. Yeah, NR has done it a bit. Had a really good approach. So he over jumped it a little bit there, but it's not really worth it. Then you drift into it. I thought that you actually just brake after, or like drift after you have accumulated the reactor boost, because you slow down with reactor boost more, but apparently you don't do that. Get airtime here, because I'm gonna come to that later, just after I explain that section, and then do another air brake by the looks of it, to get a sort of zoop and get more speed. Why do you do all of that? Because with super reactor boost, you accelerate more in the air compared to the sand So that's why you want to have as much airtime as possible in this part. And that's what the players just did. You know, also ending here, or the entry into the ending, reducing airtime, steering as little as possible. This turn is just a full right movement, but you can also let go of the steering to have more speed. Then here, go to the right. Enter, drop the gear. You can hold gear 5 here actually, which is not that easy, by just tapping. And then here you wanna release and just let go of it, and then just get a good ending. I mean, let's not talk about this ending here from Zodiac. Just look at this ending, guys. Look at it and enjoy. That is so clean. Like, you think that that Solivagen got it good with that line, but no, he oversteered a little bit. And that's how Zodiac got the speed. And also hello to Ronald Pfeiffer, and thanks for the follow. Welcome. So that's the map. I mean, very cool. Reminds me of Quicksand from Trackmania Grand League, but with a lot of other aspects. In general, this map pack or this whole campaign has a TMGL-esque vibe to it. You know, gear manipulation, outside turns, pushing, a lot of small tricks that you have to do. Not getting gear 5 here, and then also catching airtime. I mean, if I talk, you know, I'm talking about, you know, not getting any airtime, and then apparently with reactor boost, super reactor boost, it's faster than on this one. It's so dang, like. But I also didn't know that you have to brake there, to be honest, and I also went too far right there. I got airtime here from this part, so you want to approach it diagonal. You know, if you just draw a line, they will not get any airtime. They're not, or they're hardly bumping there, which is really important for them as well. So there you go. I mean, that's the map. Gear 5 can be held here with a different line. The others just went for a more inside line. But let's take a look onto the discrepancy in the times, because we have a 0.71, a point, actually 2.71s actually from Lyrus and Hobbit, and then a 0.76, and Solivagen with a 56, and Zodiac also with a 57.6. So Zodiac is actually a bit slower, even though his ending. No, Solivagen is slower, never mind. Okay, the block is just ending there, never mind. 70, 70, then a 0.70, a 0.57, and a 0.56. There you go. I just looked in the wrong way. But where did they actually gain their time? Where did they gain their time? It seems like they've gained it a little bit in the start, you know, because they already had it here. And also in this part, they just have gathered so much more speed, have gotten a way more inside line, a more refined line. And then at the end, as you can see, it doesn't really matter too much if you hold gear 5 or not. It's either you go outside and have a bit more speed, but you have to release anyway. You just don't want to oversteer here. You want to go as close to the obstacles as possible, also when you let go of the steering. So, there you go. That's the map, map 21. And map 20. Now we're gonna go to 21. Select all, map 21. We're almost done, guys. Oh. Also got top 100 here at some point. And let's see what we have on this one. So, a tilted map, in terms of that the blocks are not straight. Probably placed in free block mode, some of them even. And yeah, it's a plastic map. Plastic and road have been combined here on this map. And there's also a sneaky free wheel section. And the ending can also be really, really hard to do. Alright. Okay, so it's also, the maps are getting progressively longer. Actually, interesting line here from Kappa. But I think with that he loses a lot of time due to his approach for the ending. But let's go ahead. Let's go ahead into the analysis. Of course, to start already tilting. in terms of that the block is tilted, and then you just want to go as close as possible to the wall, no brainer, and then jump here very far to the right, because you catch the reactor boost here, and you just want to go very close to the checkpoint. If you jump to the right, you will lose a lot of time, because it doesn't really matter how much you steer with reactor boost, you just want to get it very tight. You know, you lose it here, don't want to get airtime here. It can happen with reactor boost, even though you have reactor boost, but it's only the normal reactor boost, and then you enter the drift. You can go for a small tap here to get a better angle. Kappa decides to go for a wider line, is a bit behind due to that, then drop the gear again. No airtime, wiggling on the plastic again to accelerate a bit faster. Not drift here, minimize your skid marks. Also here, not losing the gear, and then go over the freewheel section. Very important on that freewheel section that you don't enter it, and that you don't oversteer and enter it so far on the left here. It's important that you just let go of the steering, and you can go very wide here, because you want to have as much speed as possible. It's super important. Then also again, steer to gather speed, go for the drift, not overslide, get another great no jump here. Kappa actually failed it a lot. I mean, he had too aggressive of a drift. You know, he ended very far outside, as you can see, compared to the others. He was very far outside. Thus, he had to go for that no jump far to the left and had to oversteer here in order to stay in the race, and that's how he lost speed. Yeah. So Kappa losing speed is behind. Also goes for a quite interesting line at the end, going very wide, and with that having a very inside approach on that corner. And well, Kappa just lost it there at the end. He had a really good run though. So let's go with Stali, who's also on the top. Oh. Oh my god, I have to change that. Boxen, man. Boxen. Also, guys, I didn't really interact with the chat too much today, which is interesting. So you can go for a drift here, but you don't have to, but it gives you a better angle. You can see it. If you were to go for a drift, you have a better line there, but it's like, it's just only my preference. You know, who even listens to someone who's bad on tech like me? Let's see if Mime did that. No, he... okay, Mime did it. Good, Mime. Mime did it. Let's go. Mime did it to get a better angle for that turn. Yeah, then just going for that smooth entry. This drift here is probably the most important part on this map, because this can lose you a lot of time. You don't want to drift, or you hardly want to drift. It's so important to hardly drift on this corner and go very far to the booster and get a very good approach over that looping as diagonal as possible to use that tilt and the momentum that it creates to accelerate faster. So, oh, that was a really, really clean plastic section from Mime, having so much speed. And that's also what wins him the race at the end. So still time to gain on this map, but I think not that much. Maybe like 0.2. On a long map, that's not a lot. And at the end, also the gear doesn't really matter. Mime had a really good ending. I could have maybe gone a bit more inside, but he didn't do so. Alright. Unselect all. Let's go to 22. Select all. Zack. Edit. Whew. So, this map. We have an ice looping. 1 out of 2. And let's watch the world record again. For the top 5, we have Insane, Anix, Dwinjo, Edil, and Corny. Also a map with a bug slide, as you can see here. What the fuck was that, dude? Who was that? Dude, what did my guy do, dude? Dude, what are those gaps? Isn't that the car skin from Janik? Which one? This one? I don't know. Ah, yeah, this one. Yeah, no, it's the Kaki skin. Is it the Kaki skin? Oh, interesting. This is the Kagi skin. Alright, but let's go into the map. Start, you know, vertigo incident. You know, that's the Kagi skin. You can see it here. Free map equals ban. Kaki reloaded. But you mean this, those X's and the coloring. So, the start is not that easy to do. You just need to steer in very early. This all is full speed. Steer early here as well. Minimize airtime, go as close as possible to this transition. And then the apex here is really important because you want to have it as far, as close to that one as possible. From my understanding. Also, this one is fine because you need to then minimize airtime here as well because this sets yourself up for this turn, this jump. You want to stay on this slopey block, on that bowl block, let's say like that, to jump as far right as possible because this jump can be done, yeah, almost full speed or if even not full speed, yeah, and then you can also jump very low, which is a key on this map. Then you will have a good jump. You can also jump into it. It doesn't matter. You just want to jump very low. All right. So next part of the map. We have this dirt bowl. You can drop in from it from top or from that part. Or like, look how Ins did it. You lose a little bit of time with the Ins approach. And now the bug side. Of course, we see that very aggressive line. How did he even trigger that? Let us check how Corny triggered this. Okay, he just steered in a lot to the right. Of course, losing time, but getting himself a very aggressive landing, and with that, having way more speed than the others. But literally, you want to do the bug slide and then cancel it, and still stay in your gear. That's the important fact. You will gear down into 4th, but you want to hold gear number 4. That's important. You don't want to gear into 3rd, gear down into 3rd. Then gear up into 5th again before the ice loop. Let's go into the internal view, because that's also what view you have on this map. You kind of want to exit smoothly, not sliding here. Really, really important to not slide on this one that much. I mean, you want to slide a little bit, but then, of course, go into a speed slide again, which Corny did really, really good here. And also set up yourself for that part already, where you want to jump in very high, very, very high approach into that one in order to... Not like if you go low into this one, if you go low into the into this bobsleigh part, that's probably an important piece of information. If you go low here, you see it? You have like a little bit of airtime there to catch. You will get a very weird line here because the block is not really, you know, it's going wider, and at some point you will get a little bit of airtime. I think it's here, so that's why you want to go up. And in that moment, where you initially get airtime, you go down in order to not only set the turn up very nicely, like this, you would get airtime here, but also to avoid that airtime, of course, and get a great approach for that turn. This will give you a lot of time and a lot of speed, so really cool to see that. And then here, hold gear number 4 again, and then at the end, I've seen someone doing a zoop. Yeah, minimize airtime here again. Can go to the right. And there was one player going for a zoop. Was it insane? Those Ins just gathering more speed. Look at that. Almost overtaking Anix there at the end. So very, very cool line. So you have to go further up, else this line will be very awkward. So cool line, good fight. The bug set, of course, is the hardest part. You can also not drift on this corner there. But also in-start wasn't really that good. You want to jump from top to bottom, kind of like the other players have done. You want to approach from the top and then go like that to approach that turn earlier. You can also not air brake to get a little bit of a, like, then your nose goes up a bit. Seeing here how Anix did it. Beautiful display. Let's go to the next map. Whew, we have 3 more maps, guys. 3 more maps. Huh. Three more maps. And also to Mersotics and everyone else. So of course not a lot of chat interaction today. Super sorry for that, but of course I cannot do it on this one. So Massa has a really good time on this map, 51.1, being 0.4 ahead of the world record, of the second world record. So Massa with a really, really good run. Massa has a crazy time here, as well as Mime on 25. Interesting line here from Scrappy. Gathering more speed. Also safe with the gear. And we have the next ice looping. Oh, this one is hard though. This ice loop is hard. And then a drift with your icy tires, which can be tricky, but it's not that hard once you've understood it. So, this map. Start. Straightforward. We see one player going low, gathering more speed on that freewheel section. Every kilometer per hour matters. And now this right-left turn. You're in 4th gear, and I tell you what, guys. Holding this gear is not easy. It's nothing compared to the other gears that you've seen. I think this is the hardest, or one of the hardest gears on this campaign to hold. Really. Because you have to steer right, and then you need to let go and trust your instincts here. Because you need to go so close to the barrier. Actually, Scrappy did it really clean. But you need to hold that gear. It will gain you a lot of time. It's super important. But once you oversteer on this turn, you are dead. So then, of course, minimize airtime. Also try to, or not get airtime, try to slide again. Get yourself a slide in. So that's how they do it. So Massa, of course, having a good start, also a good slide here. And then you want to jump into the turn. Not gear up into 5th and also not gear down into 3rd. That's really important on this part as well. Go a bit further up. Get a good approach and also not gear down. Then you can brake to get another zoop. So Massa got it really good. Then you can go very close. Let's go into the internal view. You can go very close to that sign, which will probably Massa win this world record. Whereas Donray went far up a lot. Jump into the bobsleigh smoothly. And now this probably is the thing that a lot of players will struggle with. And that's what I also understand. Because this part is really, really hard. Because if you go right, your car will just be uncontrollable. What you want to do is you want to stay on the right, not full right of it. But then, as Scrappy did it, steer to the left just beforehand to gain control. You know, Scrappy almost did out there, but it still worked out. And the Scrappy did it really nicely. But you want to steer to the left. And also get a good approach into the bobsleigh, because you cannot change your line. And as I said, as on map 10 I mean, not steering on ice is key. And Massa got it so good actually, as well as the drift, that he just extended his lead even though his approach looked really wonky. But the ending is just a one tap, then you want to hold that drift because you still have icy tires, and just YOLO it. You know, one drift, go close to the wall, and then there's an ice there which you want to approach a bit more right than you expect it to be, and then hit the ending. It doesn't matter if it's left or right. You're probably gonna lose like 500s if you do something like that. Alright, so that's this map, 23. Also not too hard. The gear is the most important factor. And I think that's a cool map. That is a really, really cool map. So we have 2 more maps, guys. We're almost done. You're almost left. Or can leave the lecture room. We almost got done, guys. You know, homework? Beat all author medals for next time. Map 24. Oh, God. Hard map. Fuel part, tap a bit to the left before it that you get a bit more speed. This drift really important. Go very far up. Gear up before this ice slide here, because you need to hold that gear 3 here. You can hit the wall like a certain someone has done here and gotten himself more speed. So he just accelerated more. Also gear 4 here, which you can hold as well, like Kappa is doing here. And then slide, enter, or like exit the turn very far to the right with an almost, or still with icy tires, because you want to stay as far right as possible here in order to enter the ending, because they have to tap the brake again. Similar slide than 23 from the mechanic, just a little bit different. You can release a bit, but usually you don't want to do that. Then slide here, release to trigger the slide at the end, and then just let go of it. You can also release a little bit, but not too much. Kappa has done it, and he has lost a little bit of speed, even though his exit was really good, but still he has gotten overtaken by one player there at the end. So very tricky map, especially the start. I reset a lot here, because you know, if you go to inside, you're gonna clip. If you go to outside, you will hit the checkpoint or you will fly off. But you need to gear up before you ice slide. You need to do that, else your car is stuttering and this will not happen. Then you can hit the wall here. You can also go super wide here like Kappa has done it. The speed will really reward you. Then you're also gonna gear up. Sometimes you don't do that. Like some players probably didn't gear up, but it doesn't really matter too much because you have similar exit speed anyway. But look how far behind Kappa is and how good his ending was. Like how good his ice set here was. A very clean ice set from Kappa. And he just came closer with that, but unfortunately had to release a little bit at the end. And yeah, that's a cool map. I mean, we can also take a look onto the world record here from Parzival, who has it. So let's take a look onto his start. Because his start is, of course, very unique with the wall hit. You know, he just gained grip earlier and his car was tilting a bit more due to that. That was a great line. Just going wider here, hitting it there, zack. You know, having a lot of speed with that. You can see how he just excels into the lead. That's a crazy line, and I think this will also be the world record strategy. Losing the gear here, but it doesn't really matter too much because he still had a lot of a gap towards Mika, who released here a little bit, didn't get the best entry into the slide, so Parzival will have more speed. You see, the more you stay on the right, the better it is, but I think a lot of players will struggle getting the all the time here, and it's only just getting, I think just going for a wide slide at the start will really help you, and understanding how you actually do this slide at the end, that you have to commit to it, because you can hardly slide out on this map. This is a cool ice map with gear manipulation and just gears that you have to hold, the third gear that you have to get there, and all of those things. So it's really important to get that. But this slide is really hard to do. You see Mika losing it there, and every kilometer per hour is important here. That's why Parzival is so far ahead. Like, very good run. There's still something to gain, I would say. Maybe like 0.1, but his time is already really good. As well as Massa's time on 2023. Okay, coming to the last map, guys. Then we are done. 25. Select all, confirm, edit. 25. You know, you could call it the all effect map. 25. Lingo, Massa, Haskell, Kappa, and then Mime with a sub 1 minute time. Hello, Scousers and Pro Gaming. Whew. So you have a lot of effect blocks here.
Hello.
I want to say the only thing that is missing is reactor boost, but it's at the end. So, all of those things are getting utilized here. Probably my favorite campaign map, because this one just feels very good. Very, very nice map. And yeah, Also, all surfaces have been used on this map. Very complete map. I really like this map. It's a really cool map. With a nice ending part as well. Alright, let's go into it. So we have the start, fragile. Fragile means if you jump or if you hit something, your car will be harder to control. In this case, you go for a reduction of airtime. Also here, you go very diagonal. Everything's still full speed. And also this sets yourself up very nice for that turn. Don't bump on the inside here. And also don't hit this one. Also don't hit the dingsbums, the hole here. Else you're gonna slow down. Yeah. Then you have the reset here and a no brakes block. No brakes means you cannot use your brake button, you cannot drift, so you have to release. Of course, releasing before the turn is better. The ice-set is super nice to do. You can tap your brake, not needed mostly because you just get that turn really well and you want to exit it very, very smoothly. Enter the drift from a bit more right. You of course are in freewheel, so you don't have to tap the brake a lot, but of course with sausage, if Lingo was a bit more to the right there, to the left there, he would have flown out. So good that he didn't do that. Then an outside Kohlberg dirt line, which is important because you need all speed for that long stretch, as much speed as possible. But because not only you go over you go on that long stretch, because there's also a slow-mo block coming up, where you wanna hit this reset block as soon as possible. With a good angle. That's why you go for the very inside line here and go very close to the checkpoint there again. Then we have cruise control, a cruise control drift, where you can definitely clip on the outside there because this drift is awkward. Then a plastic water part where you can lose your gear, and then the ending where you can release a bit to not slide out with a reactor boost. So you want to release there just a little. And yeah, I mean, very cool and, in my opinion, very clean map. And yeah, Kappa has gotten world record here. I mean, I downloaded the times like 5 hours ago, so I didn't have time for that to download the new times. But a very cool map. I think the most time you can lose on either the ice slide, the slow-mo part, or the freewheel. But there's so much that can go wrong on this map. If you don't feel comfortable with a start, then just release, but still get that no jump in. Don't get the fragile effect. That will really kill it, and just go as inside as possible here. Not too inside that you will fly out here, but you need to get a good apex like that. And then also drift here. Don't drift too much. That's actually all, and at the end just release a bit and then full steer to the left. And yeah, that's the map. I mean, that's also my world record analysis. I talked for almost 3 hours about the maps. I was nerding about them. You know, the entry was a bit wonky, but I think I got most things covered. I hope you guys enjoyed it on YouTube. Make sure to like, subscribe, you know, and if there's anything that I missed, I would really appreciate if you write it in the comments, because that's what it's living from. Just discuss about it and have some fun. You know, I probably didn't cover everything. So yeah, that was the video. Oh my god, that was so fucking exhausting, dude. Talking for 3 hours. I hope I got everything. I rushed a bit through the last couple of maps, but that was a hell of a journey, guys. Oh my god, dude. You look pretty dead, because I am. Oh my god, dude. Should have started with Black. Actually, true, yeah. I think I know more about Black series than I know about the earlier maps. Did you start dying after 1 hour presenting something? For me, it was 2.5. Everything for the content. I mean, I think there's some parts that I could still go over, but I think you can learn something. It was more advanced, of course, going into that, but I think I covered most of the things which are important, especially on the earlier maps. Turbos, Trackmania, top tier techniques, TED Talk. way too dank. I mean, why not? If people are interested, they will watch it. And then I'll do in the thumbnail like world record breakdown. You know? Learn from the best. Yeah, guys, not now. Also, did you change the title with map 1? Yeah, podcast. Because this one is living from seeing it. Alright.